It's cruise time. Welcome to Scissors and Scrubs. Laura and I were just conversing about how disgusting the hair in the pool is.
Ugh.
Hair on your body, and fingernails and toenails. I don't know what it is about hair, fingernails and toenails.
The feeling when you get that you know someone else's hair is on you.
When you're in somebody else's bathroom, like, let's say, not your house, because your house is pristine, but let's say I was staying at your house. Mm-hmm. I'm taking a shower, get out of the shower, and I step on somebody else's toenail.
No.
It's so fucking gross. It's so fucking gross.
I would vomit.
People like, there's a story of a woman we work with had another friend over, and the woman clipped her toenails and left them on the bedside table.
Why do you
I'd
feel
make
the
her
need?
drive fucking back and put them in the trash.
Unless I'm staying at your house for a month, why do I need to cut my nails?
No. I don't know. And the same woman clipped her toenails.
No, I know.
In the hospital lounge.
On the table.
On the table in the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking disgusting. So we're not talking about toenails. We're not talking about hair.
No.
We're talking about cruise ships.
Yes. Where you would
we're
find
talking
all
about hair
the
in the
above.
pool. So let's start with saying what happened last episode. This episode was actually supposed to be played 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And we had a lovely time. We recorded 2 full episodes.
Yes, we did a great job.
And the Sunday night before the episode was to be released, Mike said, "It's all shit." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" "It's all shit." Mm-hmm. None of it came out. Mm-mm. It was all choppy. And so then you got Little Boy and Fat Man all over again.
Little repeats.
Since Oppenheimer was coming out anyway, which was an excellent movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try this again. Mm-hmm. And we're going to redo it with a couple of high noons on board. Yeah. And we're going to give you cruise ships again.
Okay. Well, they haven't gotten it at all. But we're going to...
Well, we're going to do it all over
again. We're going
to
give it to you.
I got to load up on another high noon. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
We're both sitting here very dorky in both of our sons, Navy boot camp.
I didn't even realize... Yet, is the painting on the back of yours? Oh, we have one dead on. At least they're different pictures. Yeah. In boot camp, they get to design their, like,
flag or something.
Like the flag for their groups. So the kids, like, design it and color it, and then you get your shirts with the flag on the back.
Yeah. So I have the sweatshirt on, and I'm melting, and Laura's got the t-shirt. Because I terribly miss my son. I haven't seen him since April. And I know his friends are all listening from the USS Montana.
Oh, hello.
Shout out to you boys. Take care of my boy. And don't tell him how much I miss him.
No.
But I miss him terribly.
It'd be so embarrassing.
So I'm wearing his sweatshirt. Oh, he would be horrified. I mean, what I love is that his whole fucking boat listens to it. He doesn't listen to it. I don't think he's listened to one episode.
I don't think either of my children have listened to one.
I don't think he's listened to one episode, but his friends have all listened.
Oh, no, his friends have not listened.
Oh, they've all listened.
Because my son doesn't speak of me. It's like I don't exist.
We have a big following on the USS Montana, Laura. Big following.
Well, maybe when they go out to Hawaii and meet up the West Coast, they'll
be a little taste of home. Come visit us. We'll come visit you. Hopefully it won't all be burned to the ground by the time they get out there. Oh, so we're talking about cruise ships and things you don't expect on cruise ships. So we're talking basically the medical aspect of cruise ships. I'm going to go through a list of stuff you don't realize. Excuse me. On cruise ships, which is going to lead us to the morgues on cruise ships, which is going to lead us to a horrible story about a morgue on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
So it's all going to connect. Be patient. Stay with us. All right. I've taken a couple of cruises. I got to tell you, the food's my favorite part. Fucking love
you
the
just
food.
eat all day.
All day long.
And it's all delicious.
Yes.
It's all delicious.
The desserts. My kids loved the unlimited ice cream. Like, they were...
I mean, obviously, I love that.
They ate more ice cream than they knew what to do with.
The pizza?
Yeah.
It looked like trash. I was like, who's going to eat this pizza? And I was like, oh, I love this pizza. And I ate it.
It looked like trash.
The whole week.
Washy.
Washy.
The worst part, what happens on those hot tubs? Because there's 100 people in them. It's the same 100 people all day long, and they never leave the hot tub.
I don't know if they, like, rotate sleeping schedules.
Oh, I think they're pissing in that thing, too.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they don't get... And they're drinking a lot.
Oh, a lot.
In the hot...
In that little tiny hot tub. In the hot sun.
No.
Can you think of anything worse?
No, why do you want to sit in the hot tub?
No, with somebody's hair on you. Oh. You know there's hair in that hot tub.
There's a lot of hair in the hot tub. I never went in the hot tub.
No. I wouldn't go near those hot tubs. It's one big petri dish of infection. No. Stay out of hot tubs. All right. Speaking of petri dishes of infection.
Okay.
On a cruise ship, infection spreads easily.
Shocker.
In case you didn't know that. All right. This article I'm reading, which is Health Risks on Cruise Ships, What to Do, Consumer Report News. It's written microscopic. All right. And I can't blow it up because it's on paper. Now, I've got my reading light and I have my glasses on and I still can't see it. So be patient with me. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear a lot of bumping, it's me trying to get this paper right up against my fucking face so I can read this. Okay? All right. Ooh, this is tiny. A cruise can be just what the doctor ordered to beat the winter conditions.
I mean, true.
Yes, I believe. Or as it says, doldrums, not conditions.
Yeah.
But I can also expose you to some nasty infections. Blech. Neurovirus. They're going to talk about the neurovirus.
There's always that horror
it is the
neurovirus
biggest fear
cruise
on a
story.
cruise ship.
Yeah.
That's why every restaurant, everywhere you go, that anybody's group, washy when you go in, washy when you come out.
Yep.
Because once one person gets it, if you have 8,000 people on a cruise ship, 4,000 of them can get the neurovirus in about 10 seconds. It's so common on boats that it is called the cruise ship virus, causing vomiting and diarrhea, which comes with absolutely every fucking disease known to man.
Mm-hmm.
Scrupulous hygiene is key to containing the highly contagious disease, which is not limited to ships. No shit.
Yeah.
I think I told the story of the last one. I was working the holiday fair at my son's school, at all my kids' school. And I was the pocket lady, but you wore this ridiculous. It's like, it really is literally the most perverted thing.
I remember you telling me about this. Like, I can't believe that they do
and
this.
literally now I'm like, it was really disturbing. You have this jacket with all these pockets. The kids paid a ticket. They picked a pocket and they got some junk. But like, they literally would touch you. And I was like, this is slightly disturbing.
I just can't believe it's still doing that.
Oh, the pocket lady was a big hit.
Yeah.
She was a big hit.
Yeah.
So about 12:30, I got like a wave of sweat. I'm like, this isn't good. And it was the night of my sister-in-law's 40th birthday, which I still think she thinks I ditched on purpose. So
she didn't.
I think she thinks I was ditching on purpose. And how do you explain to her when they already got that preconceived notion?
Yeah.
I am kind of a bitch. So I get the wave of sweat. I'm like, this can't be good. And I get home and it's just not feeling right. By the time I drive to Revere, I don't know why I was going to my mother's house first. I'm laying on the floor. I get a violent headache. I'm like, this isn't good. This is good. I pick up my niece. I'm like, well, maybe if I just lay down for a minute before the party, I'll be all right. Pick up my niece, make it back to Swampscott. By the time I get back to Swampscott, I'm vomiting in the toilet.
Oh.
Tell my niece, go back home. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to. I'm not going tonight.
Right.
My husband drives her back. She starts vomiting by the time she gets back. Within 2 hours, her brother starts vomiting. 2 hours later, her father started vomiting and went through the whole fucking house in minutes. So the neurovirus, it ain't no joke. And it's a big risk when you go on a cruise ship. So let's see what else it says about this. Wash your hands after every trip to the bathroom. Why anybody needs to be told that is ridiculous.
It's shocking how many people still need to be told that.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Wash your hands before every meal. Soap and water is best. Yeah. Sing happy birthday to yourself. We've just been through COVID. You should know how to wash your hands. Though a hand sanitizer that is at least 60% alcohol is okay. The good news is, after about 2 days, the neurovirus is gone. So the first 2 days of the cruise may be rough, but after that, everybody's pass on. Yeah. All right, mosquitoes come aboard, and we know what mosquitoes are, vectors of infection.
Yes.
The Caribbean and Central America, two popular cruise ship destinations, are now home to dengue fever. That's on one of our, I think it's getting buggy with it. I think that's one of our episodes that we talk about that. They are found almost only in Africa and Asia, but because of these cruise ships, they're showing up in Texas and Florida.
Yeah,
they can have a high fever, headaches, and joint pain, and last about a week. Mosquitoes, you like that? Mosquitoes carrying both have also been found in Florida. Ugh. To avoid bites, we know what to do with the avoid bites. Listen to Getting Buggy with it. Sunscreen.
Not sunscreen.
You know what I mean.
Bug spray.
Bug spray on it, 20%. I can't even read it. All right. Get something with DEET. Because DEET kills fucking everything.
It's not good for you, but you won't get dengue fever.
No, you won't get dengue fever. Yeah. You don't want dengue fever. You don't want malaria. You don't want all the other shit mosquitoes will give you. Cruise ships aren't hospitals. Many ships have a doctor on board who, like this article, the guy Newman is writing the article, is trained in they're trained in emergency medicine, but not all of them. According to international medicine law, they aren't required to have a crew they're not required to have a doctor on board. They just have to have somebody with medical training on board. So you could be an EMT. You could be a paramedic. You could be a PA.
Like me? You could just be me?
One of us could be. It doesn't have to be a medical doctor on board. Right, exactly.
What am I going to do for you?
The medical facilities are generally more like an infirmary or a walk-in clinic. than a floating hospital. You might find a ventilator and a small X-ray machine, and the doctor may be able to perform simple lab tests to check for an infection or electrolytes or blood sugar levels, but there's no MRI, there's no CAT scans, there's no ICU or blood bank. So if you're really, really hurt, they're going to have to fly you off of the cruise ship. So in an emergency, you might be on your own.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the insurance on a cruise is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
We're all used to getting medical care where and when we need it, but that's not the case when you're at sea. You probably could get basic treatments such as stitches or IV fluids, but if it's anything serious, there's a very good chance that you will have to disembark on the next port of call, whether you want to or not. It's up to the ship's medical personnel, not you, to decide. You'll be treated at a local hospital, and the ones you don't want to be treated at a local hospital in like Roatan or fucking Barbados. They're horrible places. Right.
But you don't even get to choose.
You don't get to choose. They're going to just ship you off. It's probably still better than whatever's on the hospital. And you may have to wait till you can get a flight out to get to the United States to get better care. If you've had a heart attack or developed appendicitis miles from land, don't assume the Coast Guard will help you out. Bad weather can make flying in a helicopter dangerous, and the Coast Guard isn't obligated to take anybody off of a boat, even in calm waters. If the ship is 500 miles or more away from the shore, it is unlikely the Coast Guard will respond. So you're fucked.
Wow.
All right. I'm sorry. It's really hard for me to read this, so if it sounds like the high noons aren't helping, but if I'm really having a hard time reading this because it's really okay. Get ready for sticker shock. So if you have to get shipped off, you're really going to be fucked. Check with your health insurance company before you set sail to be sure. Most plans do not cover medical services once you get on board. Mm-hmm. In fact, this is usually the case anytime you receive medical treatment from a doctor in a hospital outside the U.S. This means you could be asked to pay up front before you're able to leave that hospital. The bill can range from $100 to several $1,000s. People don't realize that extra expenses they will occur for each medical service, like x-rays and medicine.
I mean, several thousand doesn't even... I would assume that would be minimum 20,000.
Easy.
If you had
depending
a
on what you're
injury.
having done. Yeah. Exactly.
My surgery that I was there for 3 hours, $75,000.
75.
Yeah, you get the bill. I mean, I don't have to pay it, but they tell you how much.
It's ridiculous.
I was in the place for maybe 4 hours total, like pre-op and post-op. Maybe 4 hours. $75,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I cannot imagine what that would cost you.
It's ridiculous. Travel health insurance is your best protection. Consumer Reports recommends avoiding commission-driven policies sold by tour operators, cruise line representatives, or travel agents. Instead, check out an online broker such as, it gives you a bunch of them, but don't go through the cruise ship because they're going to rape you. Mm-hmm. They sell coverage from multiple companies and allow you to tailor a plan to your needs. As for quotes, be sure that your company is comparing apples to apples, that you're getting the same kind of insurance when they're comparing it. Let's see. Your ship does not have a CVS. So meds, you're not going to get the meds you need. Most ships do have common prescription drugs on board, like ibuprofen, Tylenol, stupid shit like that. But you can't count on it. What's more, if you need one, you can be charged full price, which you don't understand when you have insurance, how much full price on medications can be.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Not just your insurance copay for each drug dispensed on the ship. That also goes to the over-the-counter medications such as aspirin, seasickness pills, and bandages. So they're going to charge you triple amounts for over-the-counter pills.
Tylenol, yeah.
I have a bag of shit I take with me. Benadryl, Tylenol, Motrin, Advil, you name it. I'm my own pharmacy. Be sure to pack enough, if any, prescribed medications you take to last the entire trip, and a little extra in case you are waylaid for any reason. Write down the brand and generic names of the drugs, the dosages, and the dosage frequency, too. That's really important because people need to know, like, if you run out of something, exactly what they're giving you. Keep the list with you if you need to get a refill when you go to a foreign port. You might want to bring along any over-the-counter drugs, which I just talked about. We do all that. You think you might need to, so you at least won't have to pay for those. Antacids, seasickness pills. You pack all that shit for yourself. Yep. Okay. A cruise is no place to convalesce. So you do not want to go on to a cruise when you already have a major illness or you've had surgery or anything, because if you have an infection, if anything goes bad, they're not going to be able to cover it. Taking the time to rest and pamper yourself after surgery's major illness is a good idea, as long as you stay on terra firma. As I always say, I live on terra firma, which is the crust of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
About 1 out of 5 people who are hospitalized are readmitted within 30 days of discharge, and you don't want to be in the middle of the Caribbean if you are one of them.
Yep.
The same goes for people who have a long-term condition that requires such strict medical treatment. Even if your doctor clears you to travel, consider the type of monitoring or treatment you need to recover regularly, such as dialysis or checking for blood thinners levels. Some doctors think the ships have this on there, and they don't.
Right.
You're not going to get dialysis on a ship.
No, God. Who would even think that?
Because people are idiots.
What world do these people live in?
On one trip, I had 5 passengers who were taking blood thinners, and they needed a regular, they test your blood to see where your levels are, and they thought the ship was going to be able to do that. Ship can't do that.
Hey, and how much did you think you were going to pay for that?
Right. Only one of them was within an acceptable, I can't talk tonight, an acceptable therapeutic range.
Oh my God.
So they had to, and the doctors are sending a notes along of all of what they should be doing. They're not hospital ships, so they don't have the...
You're not transferring them to another...
No.
Right.
You don't have the stuff they're going to need. Okay. The cruise itself may put you at a health risk. Norovirus, motion sickness aren't the only health problems to think about on a cruise. Falls and cardiac problems are quite common. A lot of old fucking people are on these things. Strokes and heart attacks probably happen all the goddamn time.
All the time.
The CDC estimates that injuries typically from slips, trips, or falls account for 12 to 18% of shipboard medical bills. I believe that.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that all day long. Obviously, anyone can fall, but for people who use a cane, walker, or wheelchair, wet decks, rough waters, and the occasional cocktail can be a formula for disaster.
I mean,
we saw that video where the wind hit that ship.
Yeah. They were like literally
chairs
flying
and shit
across.
flying across. Imagine, and the stroller, like one kid almost got knocked out by a deck chair. It's crazy. Studies have identified that the highest likelihood of sudden cardiac death occurs on holidays associated with overindulgence. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and the 4th of July. Cruise ships fall in that because you have rich food, 24/7 buffets, and copious amounts of alcohol available because it's an all-inclusive. And you can put a cruise vacation list on that category. All right, I got page flip, so give me a second. Here it comes. Oh, it's the other page.
Okay.
Completely. All right. You can sue the cruise line, but you will lose.
They're probably so
like
everything.
Up to the hilt.
Oh, yeah.
Up to the hilt with consents and shit that you have to sign your life with.
You don't even know you're signing. You think you're buying tickets. You're signing some legal document.
Did I write all that? Yeah. Okay. Cruise ships. Courts have ruled that a cruise line may not be held vicariously liable. I could get vicariously out, but I couldn't get the other words out. Liable for the negligence of a ship's doctor, and that a cruise ship is not a floating hospital. To the surprise of many disgruntled passengers, there's no medical malpractice for care rendered aboard a ship. The physician is a private contractor, and don't think that the cruise line will accept liability. That's been tested all the way to the Supreme Court of Florida. So
they could sue the doctor, but not the ship.
You could try and sue the doctor, but he's probably got liability insurance at the wazoo.
Yeah.
And the cruise line sure as hell isn't going to be responsible.
Yeah.
And they do some sketchy shit on these cruises. So,
yeah.
Laura, what happens if you die on a cruise?
Well, don't get sick.
Don't get sick. But you get so sick, you're out in the Caribbean, you get dengue fever, you sweat to death, your joints erupt, and you die.
You've had too much alcohol and food, and you die. Well, like you said, you picture it, it's relaxing. You can convalesce. You can just take it easy.
Some people are using like assisted livings.
Oh, God. You can eat, drink, swim, have a great day. Deaths occur on cruise ships every year. It's estimated that there's 200 deaths per year on cruise ships. In a study between 2000 and 2019 from 78 ocean and river cruise lines, 623 deaths were recorded. 89% were passengers, 11% were crew members. U.S. residents accounted for 61% of passenger deaths.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yep. And the highest percent of crew deaths were from India, which was 18%, and the Philippines, which was 17%. The primary causes of death for passengers: falls overboard or onto lower decks, which I didn't even think about the falls onto lower decks. Like overboard,
you have a nice romantic vacation, and there comes,
just Joe a body Smith down onto the lower deck. I didn't even think of that, but I mean, obviously it happens. Those account for 25% of the deaths. Suicide, murder, or terrorist attacks account for 19% of the deaths.
Holy shit.
Natural causes cover 18% of the deaths, and cardiac incidents are 16% of the deaths.
I thought those would be way higher. Like, I thought it would be reversed, that less people would be falling overboard than dying of heart attacks.
Right. I mean, the difference between them isn't that much. It's only like
Right.
5%, but I agree. I thought it would be like heart attacks.
Reversed, yeah.
The primary cause of crew deaths were suicide and murder, accounted for 29%, and falls from height and overboard, 24%. The most passenger deaths occurred on Carnival cruise lines, 29%
Because Carnival's like a free-for-all. It's
It's
like
like a
fucking
pot,
Vegas
like,
on the
yeah.
water, yeah.
Royal Caribbean accounted for 12%, and Norwegian accounted for 10%.
Well, they are very sophisticated.
Yes.
I wonder how much is on the Viking cruise lines. Probably none.
None,
Because they're
probably.
very sophisticated.
The highest crew deaths are tied at 19% for Carnival and Royal Caribbean.
Oh, God.
Each have 19% each of
That's
the
pretty
deaths.
high, though.
That is pretty high. All crew deaths are tracked by all cruise deaths are
All right, listen,
tracked
we're struggling tonight, okay? We're just struggling tonight.
are tracked by federal governments. If one occurs on a U.S. ship, it is immediately reported to the U.S. Coast Guard. Every ship is required to have body bags and a morgue. Every single cruise ship has to have body bags and a morgue.
Not a shroud like we used to use.
No, I think it's the whole
Shrouds.
bag with the zipper.
Yeah, those are nice.
The size of the morgue is corresponds with the size of the ship. So if you have a huge ship, you're gonna
You
have
have
a
a big
huge
morgue.
morgue. Most can hold 3 to 6 bodies.
That's not a big morgue.
No, but I mean, you're only out for a week, so if you have more than 6 people dying,
Oh, but that neurovirus going around,
I
they're
mean,
all like
sure.
90 years old.
I think it's pretty gruff if you have more than 6 people
Literally could
die in a
shit
cruise.
themselves to death.
Oh God. The morgue is usually on the lowest ship deck, away from passengers. Thank God.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Where are you going to put that? On the Lido deck?
Right. Just right next to the buffet.
Right next to the ice cream.
Yeah, this deck usually also holds food, alcohol, flowers, and ship equipment.
Oh, flowers. You never think of the flowers.
I know. The long corridor, like it runs like from front to back of the ship on this deck usually, is sometimes referred to as I-95 because it's like a straight highway. The morgue is a stainless steel refrigerated room that has shelves to store the bodies until they can be unloaded. Bodies can be stored on the ships for about 1 week. So you can get through your cruise usually in the morgue. On board cruise ships, there are trained crisis teams. They're called guest care teams. When someone dies on ship, a person from the guest care team is assigned to assist the deceased family or friends. So I die, there's somebody on board that is assigned to Mike now. They went through special training in dealing with grieving individuals, but are not grief counselors. They just went through training to help
On how
them.
to say, how to be nice.
Yep.
And try to considerate.
They're there to assist with details of repatriating the deceased passenger, which means getting it back into the country. Contacting a funeral home. They help families deal with local authorities if they have to get off the ship or whatever. They help them deal with insurance. They make travel arrangements for the deceased and their families.
All the things people aren't thinking about.
Right, and you have no idea how to do that. You're in a
Right.
different country or wherever you
Right.
are. You have no idea how to do that. They also give loved ones free internet and phone calls to contact family and make arrangements. Thank
Because
God.
you don't realize how expensive
Oh my God.
that shit is on a cruise
It's
ship.
ridiculous. My son had his friend up to Maine. And the friend had gone on a cruise this summer, and he said something about texting or something. And my son was like, "Wait a minute, how did you use your phone on the cruise?" He's like, "Oh, my dad paid for internet." He's like, "Oh, we didn't have internet when we were on." I'm like, "No, you didn't have internet when you were on that cruise."
My girlfriend's daughter, her niece, $1,600 she racked up on fucking texting and
Oh
calling.
my God.
She didn't realize.
No, you don't need to text anybody.
$1,600.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If the family wants to disembark with the deceased, the person from the care team actually goes with them to the hotel, stays with them until they get on a flight back to
That's
their
nice.
country. So there's
Ain't that
someone
nice?
with them. Yep. And they will also do like a follow up with them. Like they'll call them when they get home,
Yeah, make sure
follow
they're
up,
all
make sure
set.
everything's all set. The trickiest part is getting the body home. Where the body is kept depends on several things. The family has to work with the cruise to ensure the body gets home. It's not
It's
like
a process.
oh, just throw them in there and you can disembark in Boston when we get back. The cruise's intention is not to house bodies for long. They usually unload as soon as possible. So usually whatever big port you come into next is where your body's getting dropped off and then you have to get home.
Oh, give me strength.
Yeah. Some factors that, make up their minds how they're going to get this body home. Some of the factors are where the ship was at the time of the death, the port being visited, and the ship's flag state. Cruise Ship Lines International Association states that the ship's location and the visiting port contain requirements regarding offloading a dead body. It can also preclude the cruise from unloading bodies. So it depends on what island or wherever you are. Some of them can actually say you cannot unload here. You have to keep the body on. Like if it's a small third world country or something, they can't take that. And they can't repatriate it for you.
What
so
are they going to do with them?
You either have to keep, like some of the countries can say, absolutely not, we can't take them. And some of them like, we have to take, like you have to give them to us. Even if you didn't want to, you have to give them to them.
Oh, I wouldn't like that.
No. The U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention requires any ship that calls or does a home port while at the U.S. to report any deaths immediately. So if you, I don't know what it is with other countries, if you have a home port in the U.S., even if you're in the Bahamas, you have to notify the U.S. that you have a death on board.
That makes sense.
Yep. Bodies are frequently kept in the morgue until they return to the U.S. Once they dock in the U.S., a local medical examiner's office will issue a death certificate. However, port authorities at any port of the ship visits have the right to examine the dead body and offload it. What? So even if the ship was like, well, we'll be home in 2 days, but they have a port stop before that, that port can say, we need to see a dead body, we need to examine it, and we're going to take it off the ship.
Oof.
If the person dies in the middle of, say, the South Pacific, far from its home port, I'm trying to...
Down by Bora Bora somewhere.
The body must be repatriated at some location. Like, that's too far for them to keep the body on. Small islands or third world infrastructures can refuse to allow a body off a ship because they can't handle the repatriation. Again, like, if they can't do it, they're going to leave the body on board. So the body tends to be removed when the cruise ship visits the first large port after the death. A medical examiner will receive the body and it will be repatriated. Each country has its own specific regulations regarding accepting bodies, naming a cause of death, and repatriation of the remains. So it depends on where you are, what that country says, what port you're in, what ports you're going to go to next. Like, it's a disaster if this happens. The crew is there to assist families with all the red tape and arrangements, but the cost of all this incurs is the family's dime. Like, the ship is not paying for any of this. If this island says, oh no, we want that body, you got to take it off, and that's it. You have to go to that island. You have to get a hotel there. You have to get flights back from there. You have
to get your insurance squared away.
And some travel insurance does cover costs of death and shipping of bodies, but some do not. So do your research because it can get very pricey if someone dies on board.
If you're old and you're going on a cruise, make sure you get that insurance.
Even, God forbid some stupid accident
happened, but especially if you're fucking 88.
Right, if you're eyeing it down, get it, repatriation costs can range from $5,000 to $15,000. Just just the repatriation. Then you have the hotels for the family and other incurred costs. And you don't know, like the medical examiner in that country, you might have to pay them. You have no idea. It's a different place. Right. And they can leave people with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. So do your research on your insurance. Make sure you get it, especially if you really think you might need it. It is very expensive. Yeah. And you don't really get a choice. Again, like you don't get to choose. Oh, no, just keep the body on board till we get back to Boston. No. That's up to the ship and the protocol you're in. And I got that from spacecoastdaily.com, IJTMGH.com, and cruisehive.com.
Well, Laura, New York Times, April 2023.
Oh, this is this year.
We're going to talk about Marilyn Jones.
Why did I not think this was recent?
No, it was this year. Huh. Marilyn Jones. She and her husband, Robert, decided to take a Caribbean cruise. They're almost fucking 90, God bless. She's 88 and he's 89. They've been married for 55 years.
And she's 88?
Yeah.
So it's only since she was 33. So when I'm 88, I'm going to have been married for 65 years.
66,
actually.
It's a long fucking time.
It's a real long fucking time.
Not me, man. And I'm an idiot. It'll be 55 years
Yep.
because I married an old man.
God damn it.
All right. So they're on the Celebrity Cruise Equinox for an 8-day Caribbean vacation out of Fort Lauderdale.
They went on Celebrity. That's the party ship.
Yeah, well, the Carnival's a party ship.
Oh, Carnival. That's
Carnival's
right. I'm
a
sorry.
party ship. Yep. So 2 days into this luxurious vacation, Robert fucking has a massive heart attack and croaks.
Oh, God.
God bless Robert. There's your end of your 55 years.
I mean, not the worst way to go.
No, for him.
Right.
But for poor 88-year-old Marilyn, she's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And she's left all alone on this cruise. Like, not for nothing. My parents at 89, 88 want to go on a cruise. I'm going with you.
Right. I'm going to get a different room.
Because if something like this happens.
Right. At least there's someone
or
with you.
something bad happens, you're not going to have. My mother can't order off of fucking Amazon.
Right.
And she's only 84.
Right.
You think that I'm going to let them go on a cruise? Give me a break. Anyway, sorry, not to judge the Jones family, but I did. So the cruise ship tells you have 2 options. You could have Mr. Jones removed from the ship in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's a 50-50 shot that he'll get that if he gets off in San Juan, that the coroner's office either is going to want to take the body and do a full exam, or they're going to let you take it home. She would have to stay in San Juan till the autopsy was over, and released the body to the funeral home. She would also be her responsibility to pay for all of the costs if they disembark in San Juan, which of course I'm sure her life savings is not going to cover this. Her section.
Wow.
I'm really struggling tonight. It's the heat. I'm hot down this bathroom.
Do you have a t-shirt at least?
No, I don't.
I'll get you.
It's this on my fucking.
I'll get you a t-shirt.
Sports bra. Her second second option is to stay on board till the end of the cruise. She is assured that the Equinox was equipped to safely transport her husband back to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
She is told his body would be kept in the morgue. She chose this option, obviously, because it's an easier option for her. I'll just go back to Fort Lauderdale. My family will be there. We'll offload him there. And she's 88 years old.
Right, she's not going to be in a foreign country by herself.
So she stays on the cruise for 6 more days. At some point, for reasons unknown, they move Mr. Jones from the morgue to the drinks cooler.
That's disgusting.
The morgue cooler is kept from 36 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, where a drinks cooler is only kept from 39 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Not cold enough for a body. So,
oh my God, was he wax and melty by then?
He was more than waxed and melty. He was jelly.
Oh.
When they docked in Fort Lauderdale and the funeral home shows up to come and get the body, Mr. Jones is liquefied.
Oh my God.
He is in an advanced state of decomposition.
Oh.
The body has expanded with gases and his skin has turned green. I'll tell you. I had to do a case, necrotizing fasciitis. We need to cover that one time. Yeah, necrotizing fasciitis is the flesh-eating bacteria
it's terrible.
That literally is eating the skin faster than you can take it off the human body.
We're watching it. We're taking it off and watching the muscle next to it turn gray.
And it was a night shift. We were doing somebody's arm. They had gotten it from injecting dirty needles. The muscle literally liquefied. I've never seen anything since or before in my life like this. The muscles had turned green and they were soup. So I'm assuming this is what Mr. Jones now looks like. Okay. This would now prevent the family from having an open casket.
Yeah, God, I hope so. Yeah.
The family is now pissed.
Well, that's not right. I mean, you can't treat a body like that.
You can't treat a body. Why is he in the drinks cooler next to the Coke? Could you imagine going in and
being
like...
what the hell does the drinks cooler smell like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you're serving that to the crew?
Right.
You're worried about the norovirus?
Right.
How about that shit that's all over the Coke?
Right.
Okay. The family is now suing the cruise line, shocker,
good.
for $1 million in damages from Mrs. Jones' trauma.
I mean, that's not even a lot of money.
The story, so I think I should get $50,000.
Yeah, minimum.
Okay. Had she known the morgue was not adequate, she would have gotten off in San Juan and dealt with him properly. So the lawsuit states that Celebrity Cruises recklessly handled Mr. Jones's body.
Yeah.
The case is still pending.
Okay.
So that is fucking disgusting.
Poor Mr. Jones.
Poor Mr. Jones. I wonder if that's their real name. I'm going with this not.
You would hope. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just be like, you know what? I know this is my final days. I'm going on the cruise, and when I go,
dump me over.
Throw me overboard.
Give me a burial at sea. What's so bad about that?
Right.
I'm shock food.
Right. I'm 90. What do you think I died?
The thing for me though is one of my worst fears is going overboard and being eaten by sharks.
But you're already dead.
Yes, but why would you let me go to my worst fear?
Yeah, I guess. Fine, I won't throw you over.
You know, I'm going to end up like that fucking guy from Pirates of the Caribbean with the, like, squid neck.
Ew.
Davy Jones' locker. All right, so we're going to finish up with my other big fucking fear, because I don't like the ocean at night. Terrified of the ocean at night.
It is scary.
I'm terrified. I don't like the ocean during the day. I'll go in it up to my knees, because I'm always looking for sharks up in my knees. I'm waiting for that bull shark to come and rip my calf out. But at night, forget it.
No.
Forget it. So what happens if you go overboard on a cruise?
You die.
Well, let's see, Laura. Okay.
I remember being on the cruise and being out there at night and being like, there's nothing near us. There are no lights. No one's going to find me. It is pitch black and there's no one here.
I literally would be up against the wall. I wouldn't go near the railings.
I mean, I did stand at the railing.
I was terrified. And then I think, because this is so weird, I'm a complete nut job. I don't know why my husband's married to me. Because my head immediately goes to the Titanic. What it must have been like for them sinking in ice cold water in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And they were dying. Like, you weren't coming out of it. At least in the Caribbean in warm water. But then you have sharks.
Yeah. I don't know how warm it is that deep, though.
Well, if you would look, if you're going down with the Titanic, you're dead in minutes because the pressure's going to kill you.
Right.
But if I'm floating and waiting,
yeah,
you know, for the random lifeboat to show up, at least if I'm in warm water, I have more of a fighting shot.
Yeah.
All right. So is it easy to fall off a cruise ship? Well, no, it's not. Well, cruise ships have railings. Did you know that?
They do.
They no shit, Sherlock. Usually chest height on the average person. Persian. We're struggling tonight, all right? This is what happens when we have to re-record. On all open deck areas and cabin balconies, they are placed intentionally to ensure a passenger's safety. Not a patient's. The only way you risk a fall is... I don't know why that's making me laugh.
That's probably something terrible.
It's like a delayed reaction. The only way you can risk a fall is if you're standing on furniture to peer over, like that asshole that was doing handstands on the front of the booze cruise that went into the Boston Harbor and drowned, over the side, or climbing somewhere you're not supposed to. It's not possible for you to trip over a door frame or slip on a wet deck. I would be the one that would fucking trip over the door frame and flip over the railing and end up on the water.
I mean, they are high. They're high.
They're high.
Yeah.
Play by the rules and remain in control of your actions, which means don't get shit-faced.
Feet on the floor. Right. Feet on the floor.
So how do you go overboard on these high-railing ships? Well,
get pushed.
It happens when you've had too much to drink, and you climb on top of the railing to pretend you're king of the world, and you enter restricted areas.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And that are either dangerous or potentially fatal. Stunts like climbing from balcony to balcony, which you always hear when people are really, really drunk. They think they can fly.
That's like the number one thing in like, what's it called?
Break.
Spring break. I was always petrified of that. Like that.
They think they can fly or they think
they can fly. They're morons. God love them. They're usually teenage boys. And like, just go with my friends, but I don't have to go out the door and back in the door.
Yeah, and there I go. Oh, my God. So they're climbing balcony to balcony. They lose their grip and they drop. It's impossible to discuss cruise ship man overboard incidents without mentioning that some of them are in fact intentional.
Oh, yeah.
Your husband's had enough of your shit, overboard you go. You've had enough of his shit, overboard he goes. Your mother-in-law, overboard she goes. All right?
I can see it happening.
You never want to take a mother-in-law on a cruise.
I did take my mother-in-law on a cruise.
And she survived.
She did. She was violently ill for 2 days, though.
Neurovirus.
No shit. It was seasick. It was wicked. The ocean was really, really bad.
That's what those bands for. Some cruisers purposely jump off the cruise ship to commit suicide. It's like the Cliffs of Moher, the Golden Gate Bridge. It's like very symbolic for them to do this.
I know, but at the same time, all those places, people are on vacation, trying to have a nice time, and they're going to live their lives too, watching them die
because you landed on the lower deck.
Right. Oh God, don't do that.
Imagine.
No,
that would be my luck. I'd go to kill myself. I'd land on the lower deck and survive.
I know.
Passengers caught up in a physical fight or wishing to do harm could push someone off the ship, though it would take some effort. I don't think it would take that much effort.
They are high, so you would have to be able to lift the guy over.
And you're fucking around, you know.
I mean, yes.
I wouldn't get a room with a balcony for this reason.
Oh, not with kids. No. As an adult, I would, but not with kids. No.
So, between 2009 and 2019, there have been 212 man overboard incidents on cruise ships.
Wow.
According to reports on operational incidents issued by the Cruise Line International Association. I can get that out, Laura.
Yeah, good job.
That works out to roughly 19 overboards per year. That's 19 too many for me.
Yeah.
Cause of people falling off ships are also on the decline. Did you know that?
Thank God.
That's still too fucking many for me. Okay, 19 every year. That's a lot of overboard.
They must have raised
maybe one a year.
the railings.
Yeah, whatever. What happens when somebody falls off a cruise ship? When someone is determined to have gone overboard to the side, the bridge, the ship's control center will contact the Coast Guard and a search will begin. By the time you realize they're over,
Yeah,
you're a mile away.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to find them in the middle of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. At night in the pitch black.
I'm getting stressed.
I'm sweating.
I'm getting verklempt just listening to that. I have to stop fanning myself. Officers will attempt to pinpoint when and where the incident happened, allowing the search to cover a particular radius where the individual is predicted to be.
Mm-hmm.
The search will be called off after the passenger is found or the ship is cleared by the Coast Guard to continue its voyage, meaning we're never going to find him. So when my husband was in the Navy on an aircraft carrier, they were in a battle group.
Mm-hmm. So there's multiple ships.
There's multiple ships, including ones behind the aircraft carriers. Mm-hmm. His ship gets a call. Hey, John Smith's on our ship. You missing him? He had fucking gone overboard, and the ship behind them picked him up.
Thank God.
They didn't even know he was overboard yet, because there's 5,000 guys on an aircraft carrier.
You think your buddy might be like,
yeah. Hey, where did Joe go? He didn't show up for dinner.
Standing right next to me.
You think every fucking meal they'd probably muster and be like, hey, is everybody here?
Yeah.
Maybe do a check? No.
A little roll call here? No.
Maybe something? Okay, so let me page flip.
Okay.
Because, of course, there's a million ads on this page that I'm looking at. So, yeah, picked up the guy behind him. I, again, would have a goddamn stroke in the water.
luck of that guy that he wasn't on the last ship.
Right. Oh, my God. Could you even imagine?
No.
I guess when my son's on a submarine, we don't have to worry about him going overboard.
No, he can't go overboard.
No, but he can sink. What should you do if you see a cruise ship, somebody go overboard? If you witness somebody falling off a cruise ship, throw them a life buoy. There's a million of them on the deck.
They are everywhere.
You can often find orange life rings attached to deck railings.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much those were.
Here's my thing. If you're on like that top deck, it's a far fucking way down. Do you think I am like, oh yeah, let me throw that
and you know what's gonna happen
a mile down
before that hits me? The fucking ship propellers are gonna chop me into fish food. You know how I feel about propellers.
You do.
I'm terrified of the propellers. Okay, I'm gonna end up on the propellers.
I just like the chance of me being able to throw that to you.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. Because I'm probably drunk anyway.
Obviously, if I'm standing near you and you've gone overboard.
Yeah. It's crucial to then alert a crew member that you witness. You'd know I witnessed somebody overboard because I'd be fucking hysterical on the deck of the boat. Oh my God! And have the crew alert the bridge. Note the time the overboard. Note the time, Lara. Note the time.
Got it.
Okay?
I'd be
hysterical.
Yeah.
I'd be laying on the deck, afraid that I'm now going over. I'd be
holding on.
I'd be flying on the deck. He went overboard. Oh my God, he went overboard. I can't believe I just saw that. Get me inside. I'd be hysterical. I'm going to note that. Oh, by the way, it was 10:10 when he went overboard.
I noticed that in my hysteria.
FYI, it was 10:10. I noticed by the lights and the stars.
Yes, yeah.
But the constellations were aligned.
Orion's belt was right here.
Oh my God, I'm on fire. Okay. With this information, the bridge officers can identify the exact position of the ship at the time, so it can return to the location to search for the missing guest. You know, he's got that little sextant up there. He's noting the stars. Oh. He went over at 10:15. Okay, like you said, Orion's belt was northwest. We were right here at this time when he jumped.
Yeah, got him.
No, I would be hysterical.
Oh, no.
Absolutely hysterical. Can you survive going overboard?
I mean,
well, if you don't hit the multiple decks on the way down and the propellers don't chop you over. No, you can't. Basically, is what this says. Overboards are particularly grim when the ship is moving, as the vessel's speed and current mean that a person can be swept away quickly. No shit, Sherlock. If they aren't immediately seen at nighttime, who's going to see them?
You can't see shit.
Who's seeing them?
You literally can't see anything.
I guess it's the perfect way to create a murder. I'm not going to lie.
Nicole,
it can be a while.
Don't advertise that, though.
Imagine, though. Yeah. Overboard. I don't know what happened. I woke up, he was gone.
And he was drunk.
It can be a while before a captain realizes what has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Chances of survival vary depending on the circumstances of the fall. A passenger could get injured, hurting part of the ship as they fall. Hitting part of the ship as they fall. Yeah. Hurting the ship. Oop, I broke a window. Should they survive the fall, water temperature also plays a significant role in how long a person can survive. You have better chances of waiting. What? I don't know what that means. We're not going to... I don't know what you have better chances of, but I can tell you 212 overboard incidents, 48 of those were rescued. I think it's a pretty good number.
That is pretty good.
That's like not great numbers, but not bad.
Like almost like a quarter, right?
That's about 4 to 5 rescues per year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Anytime an overboard occurs, cruise lines offer assistance to the family, friends, and other travel companions traveling to the passenger in question. Because also, if you're out past so far, it's international waters, how bad are they investigating this murder?
Right.
You know what I mean? You hear about them all the time on Dateline, because I watch Dateline.
Yes.
All the time, murders happening at sea.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever charged.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's cruise ships for you.
It's scary.
Have a great time.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah. You'll see me hysterical on the deck. Remember that.
Holding on to for dear life.
Like climbing up on my hands and knees as I go walk around with a life jacket on. I'd be that nut job.
We watched, what the hell did Dunkirk last night.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I hadn't seen it. I don't know. I think in my head it was 1970. Like, I had seen 1970 in my head. Like, when Dunkirk's I see it, it was very good. But, like, I was like, I would be the guy outside. Like, the guys kept going in the ships, and they would, like, herd them down into the bottom of the ships.
Oh, no.
But that one guy, the German guy, kept staying outside, and I was like, I would be staying outside so I could jump the fuck off that so fast. It wouldn't even be funny. I'd take my chances before I'd sleep down. I'd sleep on deck. Yeah, I'd be on. Mm-hmm. I would 100% be ready to jump over those.
It's amazing what they pulled off in Dunkirk.
It is amazing. But we're watching it, and it finishes, and I was like, what about that movie do you think that I wanted to watch with my son in the Navy? Could you just explain to me what you think I wanted to see in that movie? Well, Laura, it happened like in the 40s. I'm like, well, it still happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, why would you think I would want to see that? Anyways.
But they pulled off getting those guys out.
They did. All those little boats. It was really
all those little boats.
It was very good, but I like the thought of it makes me want to.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my son's in a submarine.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Implosion. Hopefully it'll be quick.
Oh,
Love you guys.
Good luck.
We're gonna cover the Thresher soon, so
you won't have to worry about jumping over.
No, you'll just crush to death. It'll be great.
It'll be real fast though.
You'll hear boom.
You won't be covered in all that oil and
no, you'll just
catching on fire.
Mm. I'll never get his body back.
No.
I'll never get his body back.
No. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, all you weird submarine guys. Hey.
Hi! So that's our cruise ships. That's the repeat version of the cruise ships. We had a few more high noons this time than we did last time. Yeah. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope you understood it.
We're going to cover, we're going to recap. The next episode is going to be the recap of all the shit we've told people not to do that they did and ended poorly this year.
Yeah, on our summer series, we have talked about all these things.
And I've come back to bite people in the ass.
Yeah, literally.
So, have a wonderful end of summer. I feel like it's already fall.
My tan's already fading. Do you see this?
We're going to the beach tomorrow, Laura.
I know. I'm hoping.
I already bought my fall candles. I'm already burning apple pumpkin spice.
No. See,
I did.
No, you've crossed the line.
Today warranted it.
Today was
rainy.
crappy.
Yes, it was crappy. It was cold.
But you have crossed the line.
I have. But you know what? That's what I already baked. I baked.
What?
Yep, zucchinis. 4 zucchini breads.
No.
I baked.
No.
I've broken the rule. There's Halloween candy in the fucking stores.
I know. I was excited about the candy corn. You know I love candy corn.
Candy corn. It's the worst. That and black licorice are the worst.
No, black licorice is disgusting. Candy corn is delicious.
It's disgusting.
It's not.
It's disgusting.
It's wonderful and waxy.
Garrett keeps eating the saltwater taffy.
Garrett?
And he keeps looking at me, crinkling in it.
I told him to. Garrett buys. They came up to visit us in Maine, and there was saltwater taffy in the store, and Nicole was in with them, and he was like, oh, does anybody else like that? And Nicole's like, yeah, Laura
loves saltwater taffy.
I love saltwater taffy. So he comes out with his big box of saltwater taffy. He's like, you can have some. This is for us. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he keeps giving them to me, and I immediately sniff them and then eat them to see what's like that. And I'm like, keep eating it. I'm like, why aren't you eating? He's like, well, I already had a few, and I'm stuffed. I'm like, what? I could eat that whole.
I'm like, she'll go through the whole box if you don't control her.
So then he's leaving. I'm like, on the way home, make sure you just start unwrapping.
That's what he did.
Just keep unwrapping them so your mother gets sick. She'll yell at you eventually. You're making me sick eating all that candy. I'm like, that's what she does to me.
I was working a night shift with Laura, and it's like 2 a.m. and she's got a bag, like a big Ziploc bag of random weird fucking candies, like ribbon candy, like weird fucking candies that you would never see. They're not even wrapped. It's just a bag of fucking
like I went to the candy store. I went to the candy
store. Just
store.
Weird. She was eating this candy for 2 hours. Just boom, boom. But I literally looked at her. I'm like, if you put one more piece of that candy in your mouth, I'm going to vomit. And I haven't even had any. You have got to stop eating that candy. She's like, but I can't. More. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. You have to stop eating that candy.
I love candy.
Yeah,
I should be a diabetic.
I can honestly say I've never seen anything like it in my life.
No.
You can eat candy.
It's bad. No cavities, no diabetes.
No,
it's all good.
She can eat some candy. Oh, Jesus
what the
Christ,
fuck, Mike.
that note, I guess we're ending this episode. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.